Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to a new edition of Urban Sentinel Live. It's Tuesday night. Yes, it's that time again. Want to apologize to you all for not showing up at 8 o'clock, but had some technical difficulties. We worked them out, and then we're ready to roll with the show. Tonight, we got a good friend of the Urban Sentinel Live show, Raven Thistle, who's a holistic coach, and she's dynamite. She's great at what she does, especially in the area of mental health, showing you how to control your emotions and everything else that you need to do to have a whole life. Mentally be mentally sound and strong. So tonight we're gonna sit and talk for a while. So Raven, how are you doing?
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me back. It's so good to
Yeah.
see you.
Yes, I missed you. I missed you. Let me say, I think since the last time I've been with you, my mother passed. Okay, she passed in April. I've been April was kind of a rough month for me, and part of May. And so the show, I really haven't, been doing the show strong. About the third week in May, we've gotten back on track and everything. But hey, it was one of those things, and uh, I remember our conversations to help me get through it. So
Wow.
so you
I'm
have rubbed off on me some, okay?
I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. That is so hard.
Yes, yes,
She,
yes,
that's one of the hardest things we ever go through as a human being.
yes, yes. So I'm still coping. Still taking each day one day at a time, trying to put my life back together and do the things I was doing when she was living. I found that doing those things, helped me, get myself back on track. So that's what I'm doing. That's what's up with me. And
Yeah.
so, uh, offline, we were talking. You're down in Texas now, down in Dallas,
Yeah.
Dallas, Texas.
So I've been wanting to move to Dallas for more than 10 years.
Oh, okay,
I've known that this is where I wanted to like settle down and make my permanent home once I get done traveling the world and living here and living there. And
right.
it's time. So I've been here for only a week.
But Dallas is a nice area. I've been there a number of times myself. I come to Texas quite a bit, about 2 or 3 times a year, because my son and his family they live in Houston. So I'm down in the Texas area quite a bit. So other than I hate going down in the summer, probably going down the week of July the 20th. Because when it gets hot down there, it's hot. That heat is rough down in Texas. I tell you, so I try to stay away in the summertime, but I'm gonna have to go in the summer this summer. So just
Yeah.
one of those things. So other than moving to Dallas, what you been up to? We haven't talked in a while. So what's going on?
Yeah. Well, I've had some really exciting developments. I know I think I was on your show back in March or maybe late February.
Mm-hmm.
I told you that I had gone at full time as a holistic coach in my business. I've worked in that capacity for a long time, but it was something that I did outside of my full time work for the last few years. And now it's full time. And under the umbrella of my company, Well Loved, I have a few different programs. I'm especially excited about the Empower Ed program, which is designed to provide holistic health coaching and perspective for college students on college campuses.
Mm-hmm.
So, you introduced me so well as you always do, and you highlighted my focus on mental health, and Empower Ed is no different. College students have been suffering so much with their mental health. Um, Recent studies are showing that 60% of college students they meet the criteria for at least one mental illness.
Mm.
Um, and, ever since COVID, the counseling offices on most campuses have been inundated with student needs to the point where a lot of colleges are now turning to telehealth just to support the capacity. Um, and so, what I've done with Empower Ed is kind of take that model and use research-based proven techniques like coaching, that's proven to help students stay in school, and applying a holistic perspective to that, which gives students a rounded approach to well-being that ultimately is just proven to support mental health so much better.
So, how did you come up with this idea? I know you will explain it, but how did you come up with this idea? Because I know you're doing a lot in the area of holistic uh, counseling and coaching when it comes to mental health. I know you were doing the thing with couples. You're doing one-on-one with men and women and everything. So, how did you get to this approach, other than knowing that this was needed on college campuses? How did you get there?
Yeah, so I worked for the one and only Grambling State University in Grambling, Louisiana for a while. And during that time there, I coached and mentored several students that they just end up in my office wanting support, wanting help, wanting guidance,
Mhm.
and, coached them through graduation and beyond. And so as I was thinking about what do I want to do next, how can I drive the most impact and help the most people who want to be helped? I thought back to those times of coaching those students. And from my thoughts around coaching students, that's when I started to do a little more research on what are the needs? Is there a need for what I want to give, what I want to bring? And absolutely the answer was yes. It did not take much Googling for me to find all the articles about how much of a need there is. So from there, it just became a matter of designing the curriculum, which I was just astounded how naturally that came to me to just
Mhm.
create some curriculum around what studies were showing are the top issues that students are struggling with, relationship issues. They're bringing their traumas, with them when they come on campus and they don't know it. They're, having issues with their professor, with their roommate. Do I date this person or not? Overwhelmed by all of my different types of commitments. Student athletes are just worn out and exhausted a lot of the time, and they don't know how to manage. How do I take care of myself? And then when they do get diagnosed with a mental illness on their campus, the only thing a lot of campuses offer to support them, which, this is nothing against the college campuses, but they
Mhm.
offer them the campus counseling services, which may or may not be available in person. And they also have a gym usually on campus. And some lucky campuses may have a nutritionist, a single nutritionist on their campus, but no one's giving them the full picture of, hey, whether or not you're moving on a regular basis is impacting your mental health. What you're eating and when you're eating it and how much of it you're eating is impacting your mental health. Most importantly, your relationships, whether or not these people are friends of yours, if you feel like you can be authentic, if you feel like you're in your purpose, all of those things are affecting your mental health too. So creating a curriculum based around these are the actual real lived needs of college students was my next step. And I reached out to some colleagues in the collegiate space just to say, hey, look over this. What do you think about it? Am I driving? Am I drumming up something that you think is unnecessary? And everybody I spoke to was like, wow, yes, we need this. So it wasn't long before colleges took an interest, and I'm in talks with 3 universities right now who are
Okay.
interested in adopting the program.
Great, great, great. Yeah, I know you were saying that you were surprised that after talking to your colleagues that they saw a need for it and they thought it was great. I mean, yeah, we as older adults, middle-aged adults, uh, just getting started adults, we have our issues too. But I think there is a lot of pressure on college students. Okay,
Yeah.
and I think that they probably really don't know where to go to try to deal with it, and it's a different kind of pressure on college students now, as opposed to how things were when I was in college, which was light years ago, but I don't think I felt pressure when I was in college, even getting advanced degrees, I didn't feel the pressure. But I think the young people today, I don't know, they dealing with a different world,
Mhm.
dealing with a different world. And I think, in my opinion, I think one of the things that drives their issues is social media.
Yep.
because they have put themselves out there in the world amongst people that they don't even know,
Yeah.
telling all their business and what they're going through, what their struggles are, and these people don't know them, okay? And so any advice they get from the outside world is going to be good advice a lot of times, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely. And you're hitting the nail on the head, Reggie. That is one of the primary concerns. Actually, I had a conversation with one of the leaders at a college that's considering our program today, and he was saying that he really liked the relationship component, and that's so needed for their students on campus, because social media is a lot of times their own understanding of how to interact with other people. So there's a big need for students to understand, how do I prioritize social media in a way that is healthy for myself and for my college experience.
you know, and you look at the differences. Technology for us, when I was coming up, was a payphone. You always had to have a dime or either a quarter to use it, and you called your friends on the telephone, but you spent a lot of time outside being with your friends. Okay, you saw them at school, you saw them in the community, and that's how your interactions went. So you knew your friends personally. You saw them, you got to touch them. You knew them. Like I said earlier, I mean, technology has messed our kids up. It really has messed our kids up. Now, okay, you have the opportunity to go on college campuses. How will you operate the program on a college campus?
Yeah, so that's threefold. So one thing that makes our program unique, I mean, obviously we have the coaching piece, and that's virtual. They can sign up for office hours online, book a time where they can talk to a coach. But the thing that really makes our program unique is that we have on-campus workshops. And these are designed as lectures. I personally will be the one teaching them. So I come onto campus, I interact with the students. I have this really dynamic workshop where they're learning and it's interactive. So they're things in real time. We start off every class by dancing. We come in the room with music. Dancing is powerful because it automatically resets the nervous system and brings you into the present moment. So we start the class off that way. There's about a 40-minute lecture, and then we have an open Q&A session where students can ask their questions. We have an open dialogue. Maybe there's some students who are too embarrassed. They want the question to be private. They can fill out a survey at the end of the workshop and ask whatever questions they want. Here's another thing that makes our program really unique: customized content. So um, all of the students at participating institutions have access to our online community, and that's where they can register for classes. They can join our challenges. They can take place. They can communicate with one another in their peer wellness community. And also they have access to a database of wellness trainings, videos, guided meditations, and a lot of the content is customized based on what the students want to know about, what they need. So let's say they're walking out of a workshop, they have questions that they didn't get a chance to ask, they write them down on the survey. Me and my team go back and look at those survey responses and say, okay, a lot of students have questions about how to improve their memory for exam week. So now let's create some content to respond to this. Let's have a small group session where we can talk it out and have that recorded. I'm here live with students, we're talking it through, and that becomes a part of the content database. So it's not just a one size fits all experience. We're bringing something to campuses that is customized for their student body so that we can create a culture of wellness on campus.
Hmm, that sounds good. So, how will you tie all this in with your couples retreats and your one on ones with men and one on ones with women? How you gonna bring all this together? Because it seems like you got yourself stretched out there right now. So, how you gonna bring it all together?
Yeah, that's such a good question, Reggie. I guess we'll find out, huh? No, I'm just kidding. So the Empower Ed is one program under the umbrella of Well Loved. So there's other programs. We still have Touch Taste Tease events for couples. And that rolls out in February of 2025. It's going to be here in Dallas this time. So we'll be welcoming couples for that. As far as one-on-one coaching, right now, I've kind of put that on the back burner. I still have some clients that I see one-on-one, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but right now, while I'm getting Empower Ed up and running, I'm focusing more on that. And I have other coaches now who are coming alongside working with Well Loved. And so they can take on clients and they'll be obviously supporting students. So now I'm not just an army of one, I'm bringing on a team of other people to support the work.
Good, good, good. So, what the people that you're using, are they already into coaching in the mental health, or are you having to train them to be a part of your programs?
Yes, so I'm hiring certified holistic coaches, certified trauma informed coaches. That's really important for me and what we do. I want every student or couple or individual who comes to Well Loved to be in very good hands. So, partly they have to already come pre certified and having some base knowledge of what's what, being able to support people. But there is a measure of training because there's just a certain way that we do things here at Well Loved to make sure people are well loved, that they're
Mm-hmm.
very well taken care of, and they're leaving with the help that they needed. So there are some systems, that are in place to support them as they're working with people, working with students, and then there's a degree to which I need to, I'm hiring people who are coming already ready. So any holistic or trauma informed people that are interested in working with Well Loved, interested in the Empower Ed program where you get to coach college students, definitely reach out to me so that you can apply for an opportunity with us.
Good, good, good. That's great. That's great. So, moving back to the college campuses now, I know you said they are equipped to really do the job in the area of mental health that needs to be done and do it right and do it well. So, what do you see on the college campuses? What do they have? What programs do they have, or do they even have programs and they send a student off campus to deal with the city or the county health departments?
Yeah, most that does happen. Sometimes it's a relationship with the city or county, health departments, but usually it is a telehealth company that colleges hire to provide the virtual therapy that students may need. So that's one of the resources that a lot of campuses have. And then, campuses also do have their own counseling staff, and some campuses may have one or two coaches. I've also seen a trend where colleges are kind of um, interning their own students to do peer to peer coaching. So that's really popular, but obviously, a peer can only take you as far as they themselves have gone.
Hmm.
And they're not going to be giving you that trauma informed expert perspective that a lot of students need, especially those who are struggling with mental health or thinking about dropping out. Usually, peer to peer coaching doesn't result in a better retention rate. And so, what we want to ultimately do is help students toward their goals. And usually, for most students, the goal is graduation.
Hmm.
So sometimes the telehealth and on-campus counseling services are not enough for some students, and it's not because they're not good enough. It's not because those people aren't doing a good job or that the college has failed them. None of those things are true. It's because people simply need more than one resource. Um, I'll speak from my own experience. My freshman year of college is when I had my very first panic attack. And I had my panic attack at the courtyard that everybody eats at during lunchtime when it was full of people. And I had a hysterical panic attack in front of what felt like the entire campus. So it was very embarrassing because it had never happened to me before. I didn't know what was going on with me. I was scared and I was so confused by my own reaction. So that naturally led me to the campus counseling center. And that's where I was diagnosed with not one, not two, but three mental illnesses that were the result of my own childhood trauma that I had yet to process. So as a freshman in college, I received these diagnoses and I started going to counseling for the first time and receiving therapy from the on campus resources. For me, I needed a lot more help. I needed a lot more support. I needed to understand how my diet was influencing my mental health. I needed to understand why I needed to move my body. At that time, there wasn't a lot of conversation about somatic work, and somatic work is what I do now as a trauma-informed practitioner. Somatic work helps you to process the trauma out of your body. It's not just about understanding logically what's wrong or how to fix it or what to do better. You can't just change the way you behave until you get the stress hormones released from your body. And so without that type of knowledge or understanding, the campus just wasn't equipped to help me with, somebody who had such severe mental illnesses. So that's just, I'm just one example. I didn't drop out, I continued, I pressed on, and I did graduate. But I saw a lot of my classmates drop out because of their stress, because they felt it was too much, because they started to feel like they couldn't do it, because, they needed more support. So I know a big part of what motivates me to make sure that the coaching and the entire experience is coming from a trauma-informed lens is knowing and being that student who needed a trauma-informed hand in supporting me.
Because when I was in college, I was part of the peer counseling group when I was in college. We didn't, we had our T-shirts and that we wore on campus, moving around, but we didn't. I mean, we didn't see a lot of people during that time. I'm pretty sure there were issues, and our fellow students might have been afraid to really approach us to talk to them about our problems, talk to us about their issues and problems and everything, But we were there, we were there and everything. So, like I said, we living in two different eras, okay? So, stress.
Yeah.
Where are they getting this stress from? Other than we already done talked about social media and the problems in my head, but what other areas are these students getting stressed from? Okay, some of them don't have to work. The parents taking care of them. Okay, now I can see someone being stressed out because they're trying to work their way through college and trying to study and maintain their grades and things of that nature. But where is this stress coming from? These young people.
Yeah, good question. So it's coming from a lot of different places, and that's what makes it so hard to turn it off, so to speak, or to stop it. Students are stressed, number one, because of their academic responsibilities. So it's completely different when you're in high school and you have all this accountability. You have to go to school legally, otherwise, your parents are going to be in legal trouble. And so, just the structure of being in your parents' home and having to go to school, maybe the bus comes to pick you up. Like, there's just a lot more nurturing around how to manage your academic expectations. And when you go to college, all of that's gone. You don't have anybody making you, unless you are an athlete and you have a coach come into your dorm room to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. It's all on you. And in addition to that, now you have a roommate. You're living with a stranger. They're not picking up your clothes after you. You have to learn how to take care of your own responsibilities in your space. And for some students, that is a brand new responsibility, and maybe they're not managing it well. In addition to their academic pursuits, and now maybe you miss your family, even if that was a source of a pain in the neck for you when you lived for it with them. Now you miss your family, and you're surrounded. You're kind of in a situation where you have to make your own friends. You have to make your own relationships and start over without the support of your family. Um, and for some students, it's a relief to be away from their family. Maybe they're relieved to be away from their family, and they still have to kind of go out into this jungle, this social jungle, and find their place. The social component is really one of the biggest stressors for students, especially in a post-COVID, academic space. A lot of these students who are in college now, they were in high school during COVID, and it was locked down. It was no socialization. It was masks. It was stay to yourself, stay at home. And, that created a lot of social anxiety for a lot of people, myself included. which is a big surprise because I've never been shy. I've never been a shy person or had a hard time socially. So even for me, coming out of COVID was like socially jarring. So I know for these students, it's very hard. On top of that, they have their professors, multiple professors at the same time who have different expectations depending on their major. These syllabi are difficult, and they've got to prioritize time management. When do I study? When do I eat? Maybe they don't have enough money. A lot of students are not getting their basic needs met. They're hungry. And so, I love what I see at different campuses where they have food pantries now where students can get free food. But those are just a few of the stressors, and not to mention the romance space. Dating and the romance thing on college campuses can be a big stressor. Dating violence and things like that happens. Then there's the party aspect, and it's just a jungle of experiences. And they've got to learn so much so fast. That's why they're so stressed.
You know, back in my day, we kept some loaf of bread in the room, some peanut butter jelly. We figured it out, and I think it's such an emphasis on now going to Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, and places like that because they have them on campus, okay?
Yeah.
College campus have fast food restaurants on the campus, but we figured it out, I mean, we might not have no milk or no soda, but we drunk water. We
Yeah.
figured it out, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of the pressure that the kids are feeling, I think they kind of putting it on themselves, because they got to figure out the excuse me, the best way to handle the situation, and not put a lot on themselves to get it done.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's a skill. That's not something we're born knowing how to do. It's a skill that's learned. And most students don't have anybody who's teaching it to them. That's one of those things like, I paid all that money for school. Why didn't they teach me that? Why
Yeah.
didn't they teach me about taxes? Why didn't they teach me how to communicate and manage my marriage? And this program is the answer to that. We're coming in with that. So the college doesn't have to add a whole new line of curriculum and hire a bunch of staff. They can just come to us and hire Empower Ed to come and empower their students.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Excuse me. So my feeling is that this is going to be a good way to reach out to the campuses. Now, the college campuses that you are in conversation with now for them to take the program, are they schools in and around the Dallas area?
Two of them are in and around the Dallas area. Another one is in a different state. I would love to work with more HBCUs because coaching has been proven to be 2 times more effective with students of color. And so we really make a big impact on HBCU campuses. And PWI campuses as well. There's this program is for everyone. So one of the institutions that I'm talking to is an HBCU, and the other two are not. Also, another place where coaching is super effective is community colleges. And I'm very interested in supporting community colleges through this program as well.
Well, I tell you doing it up. When I grow up, I want to be like you.
Be better.
You are doing it up. You are doing it up. Now, looking at your website here, you have a good looking website.
Thank you.
That you have put together for Well Love. It gives you a lot. You got some stuff for yourself. And how they can contact you, your social media. So yeah. So tell me, what is the Embrace newsletter?
Yeah, the Embrace newsletter, that is for anyone who wants to stay up on their total wellness with me. I send out articles and thought pieces and advice. So anybody who signs up for the Embrace newsletter will just get updates in their inbox on, hey, here's how you can take good care of yourself. Have you thought about this? Here's something you can apply. It's very practical. And hopefully it feels like a little hug, a little embrace in the middle of the week.
Okay, that's good. That is good. Now, when it comes, okay, let me click on the classes here just to see what's going on with classes. Now, I know your classes aren't like your, um, standard classes on the campus. So, what kind of topics will you be bringing to the student in
Yeah.
classes?
Yeah, so the students, some of our curriculum, let's see, we'll have one on how to eat to live. Here are the foods that should be a part of your diet for the rest of your life if you can eat them. Here's how to think about food. Here's how to think about your plate in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like controlling your insulin. There's a certain order that you can eat the food on your plate in. You can still eat everything you want. You still have the mac and cheese, the cake, but there's an order to eat your food in, that will help you be healthy and live longer. So things like that. We'll also talk about relationships, how to have difficult conversations. What do you do when you feel really stressed and overwhelmed? What do you actually do? How do you calm your nervous system? How to regulate your emotions? How to date? The science behind choosing a partner that you may, that would be a better fit for you, and
Mm-hmm.
what things to avoid. How to have a secure attachment style instead of being anxious or avoidant in relationships. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about friendship and signs of a good friendship, signs of a harmful friendship. Um, we'll talk about menstruation. Most young ladies don't understand their own menstrual cycle. And so we'll have classes about how to not only understand your menstrual cycle, but work with your menstrual cycle so you can be the most effective you can in life. So those are just some of the types of topics that our classes cover there. The classes on our website are not the Empower Ed classes, like you mentioned. Those
Mm-hmm.
are classes that anybody can sign up for, and it is all about healing trauma. So these are sessions, group sessions that people can register for. Some of them are based around childhood trauma, and a lot of those are in person here in the Dallas area, specifically in Plano and Frisco, Texas. But I will do other cities if people comment and tell me where they want to have a class at. And then we also have virtual classes, and the virtual classes are a combination of childhood trauma and sexual trauma. Sexual trauma is very unique, and it is, our sexuality is a place where all the other parts of us meet. And so our classes on healing sexual trauma are virtual, and I do those only virtually right now because I want people to be in the comfort of their home, and not to pull them into an unfamiliar environment to do such intimate inner work.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So let me see something I was looking at on here. And I see the comments have been good as far as people you have worked with and you have helped. Under your what are people saying? What people are
Yeah.
saying. So that's good. That's good. Um, Now let's go back and touch on something else. What kind of food and how does food help your mental stability?
Yeah, great question. So, your nutrient intake has everything to do with your brain function. If you're not taking in the right nutrients, your brain literally cannot function properly. So things like B vitamins, those control your mood a lot of times, or vitamin D. If you're not getting an adequate amount of B and D vitamins, you may have unstable moods. You may have a variety of different symptoms. And the really interesting thing is that inside of your gut, inside of your stomach and your intestinal lining, there is a colony of bacteria. There's actually more of them than there are human cells in your body, or at least that's what the old studies say. The new studies are saying that that might not be the case for some people. But this is called your microbiome. A lot of people are more interested in their microbiome and their gut health these days. And a big part of the reason is your gut communicates with your brain faster than you can think a thought. And it tells you what to do, what to think, what to eat. And um, so by kind of re-engineering your gut microbiome, you can change your own cravings. You can change your hormonal balance. And hormones have everything to do with your brain, your mood, etc. So
Mhm.
getting an understanding of how your food choices are impacting your mood, impacting your emotions, impacting your choices will help you to make the types of choices that are going to make you be healthier and live the type of life you want right now. I'll give an example. For years, I have struggled with PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And it's sort of like PMS, but it's just extreme. It's very, very extreme. And one of the things that I started doing as soon as I got the diagnosis, I went vegan because I was like, okay, I need to cut out animal hormones since this is a hormone imbalance. What I
Mhm.
didn't understand is that PMDD is not a hormone imbalance, it's a brain chemistry disorder. So your hormones are doing normal things, but your brain is misinterpreting the normal things your hormones do. So once I began to understand that, I started eating brain food to help my brain make better use of the change in my hormones. And I can tell you that has been one of the most effective things I've done.
So, what is brain food? What type of food would be brain food?
Yeah, so any omega-3 fats, your brain is made largely up of fats. So when you consume a diet that's high in healthy fats, like omega-3s that you find in salmon or sardines,
Okay.
you take cod liver oil, you ingest coconut oil, healthy oils like that help your brain cells to regenerate more effectively. And also things like blueberries, dark colored grapes. Those have chemical compounds in the dark skin that help your memory. They help your amygdala. They empower your brain. Walnuts is another good source of healthy fats and proteins. Protein is another thing that's really important for brain health. One of the reasons why a vegan diet didn't help me was it was so hard for me to make sure I was getting enough protein. That
Mhm.
vegans do not come for me. I'm not saying y'all don't eat enough protein. I'm
Mhm.
saying that for me, when I was on a vegan diet, it was very difficult for me to get enough protein. So those are just some examples of foods that you can eat. Also, chia seeds, great for the brain, great for good healthy fats.
Tell me something I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. That's good
Yeah.
stuff. That's good stuff. Tell me something I didn't know. Okay. So, how did your couples retreats go this past winter? How did they go?
Oh, so good. Actually just did the Touch Taste Teas event for couples. The retreat is actually going to be next year in February. I hope to see you and your wife there. Um, but the event was so beautiful. We sold out. Every couple was on their feet dancing. Every couple was slow dancing. The live music was incredible. We had an amazing saxophonist. Every couple got gorgeous portraits taken, and they were able to go the very like maybe 2 days later and download their portraits from the website. I just got great feedback from the couples. They had a good time, and many of them chose to stay overnight in the host hotel. We had like a special room rate for them, so they made a weekend of it and just had a romantic getaway.
Mhm.
um, I loved it, and I'm just so excited to do it again. So we'll have Touch Tasties here in Dallas, and it'll be a part of a weekend couples retreat. And so this will be a retreat that's just about intimacy and connecting. We're going to give the couple some lessons on, hey, here's how you connect. Even if you've been together for a long time and maybe you feel like you know each other, you're going to learn more about each other and reconnect at this retreat. And if you're newlyweds or you're a young couple that's just starting your relationship out, you're going to find things that you can anchor your relationship in for long term. So the retreat will start on a Friday night. We'll
Mhm.
have dinner, we'll have opening session. The very next morning, it'll be gentle couples yoga. It'll be some learning, some time for you to work on forgiveness. some time for you to institute what your new normal will be going forward and what you want to change, some time to really appreciate each other. Then there'll be touch taste teas that Saturday night. Couples who attend the retreat will automatically gain entry into touch taste teas, and then other couples can join us for touch taste teas as well. This will be a little different because bringing a chef in, and they're going to have gourmet tasting stations for the couples to eat at. We'll have the music, and we're gonna do some dance lesson that night, and it'll be a lot of fun. And then on that Sunday morning, it'll be yoga again, a closing session, a rededication ceremony, and couples go home.
Okay, I see you got it all figured out.
Yeah.
You got it all figured out. Sound like everyone who will be in attendance will have a good time.
Oh,
Will
yeah.
have a good time. Now, I don't think I've asked you this question before. Then, are you part of a group or association of holistic coaches and stuff? Do you all have where y'all touch base with each other and bounce things off each other?
Not yet, but that's a great idea. I should look for that and join one. What I often look for is holistic conferences, and
Okay.
always have such a hard time finding any that I can attend. Most of the ones that I find that kind of fit what I'm looking for are overseas.
Oh, okay.
Just inconvenient to make it. But no, so if you find out about any holistic organizations, please let me know so I can join.
Definitely. Definitely. Now, why do you feel like they have them overseas and don't have none here in the States yet?
Holistic wellness is normal overseas. It's the go-to. When I lived in Italy, it was normal for things to not have so many chemicals. Everything wasn't prescription this, prescription that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my kids, and everything's free. I didn't even, I wasn't even an Italian citizen, but if I took my kid to the hospital, we walked in, we got seen, we walked out. It wasn't this big production. And even when we did get seen by a doctor, they prescribed herbs, they prescribed, natural things, sleep, just natural ways of taking care of yourself. And of course, they have medication too, but the approach is well rounded. It's not medication centric.
So they go after the natural stuff first before they go after the actual pill.
Exactly.
Which sounds good, But because I've seen a lot of stuff, and you know how these Facebook ads pop up and stuff, like people talking about, especially people that have diabetes and they were taking metformin and then they're taking something else. What do you think about that? Do it because if the doctor puts you on something, he puts you on for a reason, okay? But a lot of people are making these changes, these drastic changes or sudden changes by looking at they've seen ads on Facebook and things of that nature. How should we be as far as saying that those ads are gospel?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust anything that I saw on an ad over what the medical professional that I've chosen tells me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about choosing your medical provider. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times when people go to the doctor, they think the doctor is God and they just have to do whatever the doctor says when they haven't taken the time to vet their doctor. Um, vet your doctor. Make sure this is somebody that you actually trust. Make sure that their perspective on medicine aligns with yours. And if they don't, change doctors. I also recommend that people have a team of medical care providers, not just your one doctor, but maybe you have your medical doctor, maybe you have a naturopathic doctor that you see as well, so that you can get both of their opinions and takes on something, and you ultimately make the decision. Maybe you also add a health coach in there, and the health coach is there to help you make your decisions and weigh between what the doctor said, what the naturopath said, and maybe they may give you some more options on how you can integrate both. Maybe they can make a plan for you that also incorporates what your therapist is telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big problem comes in when your doctors, your medical team is so siloed, they never talk to each other about you. So that's the brilliance of having a holistic coach on your side is they're going to be taking from your doctor, your therapist, your trainer, and they're going to bring all of those voices together to make a plan that makes sense to you. So you don't have 7 medications and 3 of them are canceling out 2 of them. and interacting to create something bad for you. They're looking into that for you. Um, so that's my first thing. The second thing, when it comes, and then, if you're doing it that way, when it comes to, you came across an ad and you think you found a solution, now you're not alone. You're making the decision on whether that what you've seen in the ad is right for you, based on the professional opinions of a team of experts that's there to support you. So I would say, anybody who's listening, empower yourself in your own health. Don't put the responsibility for your health and well-being in the hands of somebody who, it's their job. Like, they wake up in the morning and go to work, they come home just like you do with your job. You know, they're there to make a paycheck at the end of the day. Not to say that doctors and people don't care about you, because we all do, but you are the one who should be caring the most about you and asking the most questions and saying no. You can tell your doctor no. You can ask for a second opinion. You can say, okay, so if I didn't take this, what would be the next best thing? You are the one who's responsible for reviewing the side effects of everything that you take. Because if it comes down to you getting sick from it, you're the one who's going to be responsible. The doctor is not liable.
Yeah, like I said, you see all these ads and people say, "Well, I started eating dog food, my diabetes went away," crazy stuff like that, and it just surprised me that people would just jump on anything they see because they don't want to take medicine. I mean, I think in some cases the medicine is going to help you better than other things. It just depends on what your situation is and what you're going through.
Yeah, sometimes yes, and sometimes no.
Mhm.
That's why you need that team of people to help you make a decision. And
Yeah.
also your own research. Diabetes is one of those things. Sometimes diabetes is totally preventable and totally reversible.
Hmm.
There are some things that you can do if you have certain types of diabetes that can reverse your diabetes, if not make it go away completely. That happens for people all the time. But if you're listening to 50 different voices on how to do that, you're going to be stuck. So you
Yeah.
got to be careful and be selective about who you're listening to, where you're getting your information, and who you're going to help you make decisions.
Mhm. Yeah, you definitely got to do that. You definitely got to do that. So, excuse me. So, okay, I think we've had a great conversation here tonight.
Always.
Yeah, we always come together. Now, tell the people how they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. There's so many ways. My favorite way, though, is if you go to wellloved.co. That's WELLOVED.co, to learn more about all the programs and things that are currently being offered. You can also email me at raven@wellloved.co. And of course, be following on social media, be following on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, uh, LinkedIn, so that you are aware of what the latest developments are, you know what's going on, and you can be a part of it.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Okay, to the viewers, we've been having a conversation tonight with Miss Raven Thistle. She's a holistic coach, and she knows what she's doing. Okay, let's just say that she has quite a few programs out there to address issues in the area of mental health for young adults, college students, individuals, couples, and you name it, she can do it. So if you need to talk to somebody, go to her website, look her up, set up a time to talk with her, and let her put you on the right path.
That's
Because
right.
she knows what she's doing. She got her stuff together. Okay, so that's all I can say. Raven, as always, I've enjoyed talking to you. Look forward to our next conversation and wish you well in Dallas, Texas. How you girls like it? They like it down there?
Yeah, well, they haven't made it here yet. They're with their dad for the summer in Alabama,
Oh,
but
okay.
they're really excited about the move because grandpa lives here and they love grandpa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's good.
we have a lot of family here.
Oh, okay. Good, good,
Yeah.
good, good. Yeah, that makes it easier. That makes the move easier. It makes the move easier. So, my friends, until next week, this has been Reginald Kearney and Raven Thistle on the Urban Sentinel Live Show. Want you to go out and have a great week. Enjoy yourselves. Most of the country is hot right now, so make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids and taking care of yourself. Okay, this is not the time to get a heat stroke and get sick because of the heat. Just take care of yourself. So, everyone, take care. We'll see you next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. And I don't know what the topic's going to be, but I'll have another great topic for you. So take care. Good night, everyone. See you next week. Good night.